A lot has been made about the presidential candidates courting the crypto community, but it appears that crypto's political clout is really expanding to key down-ballot races. The margin in the Ohio Senate race is razor thin as Democratic incumbent and Senate Banking Committee Chair Sherrod Brown leads GOP challenger Bernie Moreno by just 1 point in the latest polling. That's the Washington Post. Moreno, a businessman who runs car dealerships, has pointedly courted the crypto faithful and their money. It's working. The Republican candidate received more than $40 million from the cryptocurrency-linked super PAC Defend American Jobs, the largest spender in the Ohio Senate race. With so many down-ballot races in a dead heat, could the crypto electorate actually make the difference between a win and a loss? Paul Grewal is the chief legal officer at crypto exchange Coinbase. Paul, this is fascinating to us. The Ohio Senate race is evidence of crypto's influence right now. How is the super PAC using its power? Is it just through money?
Well, thanks, first of all, for having me back on. And yes, money, unfortunately, is an important, even if unsatisfying reality of our current politics. And Coinbase has supported the Fair Shake Super PAC, which has funded a number of different efforts to support various candidates and oppose various candidates, including in Ohio, but all across the country. And we think what this reflects, Liz, is an emergence of the crypto voter and a real recognition by politicians on both sides of the aisle, Democrats and Republicans, that Americans want to see crypto in the future, and they want to see this issue addressed by Congress in a bipartisan fashion.
It's lost on nobody that it's not just the presidential race that looks like it's, a dead heat. You could maybe slip a kitten's whisker in between some of these polls between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. But for these down ballot issues, it's really fascinating to see some of these races and the power of crypto. Some of this, I'm sure, has a lot to do with the fact that Bitcoin has been on an incredible run. I mean, just over the last 2 weeks, it's up 11%. So the power of the money, perhaps, that is the sort of floating mechanism underneath these super PACs continues to expand in a way. What I find interesting is let's look at one of the House races, too. There's one in California where you've got the 45th congressional race. The Republican incumbent in this particular race is Michelle Steele. She has voted strictly in line with a lot of crypto issues and in turn received about $2.8 million from the crypto super PAC Fair Shake. I know Coinbase and some of the management have put a lot of money into that one. You look at the list of the most important voter issues, though, and it's, the economy, crime, the border. You don't really see, Paul, cryptocurrency up there on the list, and yet this is a huge driver for many of these candidates.
Well, I think, Liz, a couple of different factors are at play here. First of all, 52 million Americans have owned digital assets or cryptocurrencies at this point, and something like 90 or 95% of them are going to vote in this election. Now, not all of them will have crypto as their single issue or necessarily their most important issue that they consider when picking one candidate or another in the presidential race or any of the down ballot races, but crypto will be a factor. And if you combine that with a second, I think, important consideration, which is that so many of these races, the winner will be decided by a very slim margin. This is a very divided country, and many of these races, the margin of victory is equally slim. And so what you're going to see is a few thousand votes, one way or the other, could decide who wins any particular race. And that means that each candidate in each of those races needs to understand what the crypto voter cares about and what they expect from whomever they elect.
What I also find extremely interesting is that a lot of the ads that these super PACs are running in support of certain candidates don't mention crypto. They don't mention cryptocurrency. They mention everything from small business owners, like with Bernie Moreno. There's one ad that mentions a small business owner who said that Moreno helped her in her police uniform business. There's certainly discussion about lower child care costs in some of the other commercials, but no mention of crypto and no attacking of Sherrod Brown in these ads. Is that a strategy? Talk about that.
Well, I think the strategy is to make sure that voters in each of these races understands where the candidates stand on a range of issues.
Okay.
Crypto, yes, is an important issue in the race, but in each race, of course, voters will be making their decision on positions that address any number of other issues. The important thing, we think, is for voters to be engaged, to come out to the polls, and to understand where their candidates stand. Yes, on all sorts of other issues, but including, importantly, crypto. And the candidates' responses to this effort, I think, tells you all you need to know, Liz. Crypto is going to matter, and if they want to win, they need to pay attention.
We are paying attention, obviously, to all the races, but the presidential race is huge. And just yesterday, Donald Trump unveiled his family-backed token. And let's talk a little bit about that. It's a coin that launched. It's called the Crypto Bank World Liberty Financial Token. And it raised about $11.8 million. It fell short of the $300 million that it had hoped to do. And when you talk about the actual token sales, 344 million tokens were sold. That was just 1.7% of the 20 billion tokens allocated to the public for purchase. Multiple outages on the website. And listen, that happens when you're rolling out something that could be extraordinarily popular, as a lot of things that the former president rolls out are. But does that risk frustrating certain crypto voters who say, wait a minute, this thing wasn't ready for prime time?
I think what it really speaks to, Liz, is the Trump campaign and former President Trump's personal interest in crypto and commitment to crypto being part of the financial future. Equally interesting in my mind is that in this same week, we saw Vice President Harris once again underscore the need for a cryptocurrency framework in her own messages to constituency that she hopes to woo. So in different ways and to varying degrees, each of these campaigns is, I think, arriving at a similar conclusion, which is the crypto voter matters. And however we do it, we need to reach out to the people in this country who expect to see crypto in their future.
The Harris campaign is now taking donations via crypto, which I think is interesting. She's certainly way after the Donald Trump fact because he did it first. He's been very forward thinking about that. As we look forward after the election, what happens if a lot of these candidates who took some of the crypto PAC money get into Congress and then they start to realize, wait a minute, we're being told to back off of this or that, and you don't end up getting what you would hope for? Is that a possibility? Have you guys thought about that?
Well, we think about every possibility. I think the most likely possibility is that a pro-crypto Congress will be elected and that we're going to see even better progress on legislation to address market structure, stablecoins, a number of issues that Congress has failed to address to date that we think are long overdue. And we think in doing so, these newly elected pro-crypto congressional members are going to be responsive to what their voters have said they want. That's a win-win for everybody.
Sure is. We'll be continuing to watch. It's a fascinating development. This could really very well be the first crypto election. So, Paul, you're right in the thick of it at Coinbase. Thank you so much.